Oh, I guess we should get started then. Good morning, Woodland Pond. I'm Deborah, and we're about to do some yoga together. There's one thing I would like you to remember, and that is everything I say is a suggestion. It's not a demand. So if I suggest anything that's inappropriate for your body, please just skip it. You might have arthritis. You might have had surgery. You might have had an injury. You might just be tired. I give you permission, skip it, take a breather, rejoin us when you're ready. Alrighty, so we're going to start in our favorite starting position. You can stand up, you can sit on a chair, you can sit on the floor. If you're sitting in a chair, move your butt forward so that you're sitting, so that you're not leaning against the back of the chair. Put your feet on the floor, hip width apart, looking like the number 11. If you're on the floor, it's lotus, half lotus, kneeling, cross-legged, whatever makes you happy. All right, so let's all roll our pelvis forward so we come up onto our sits bones. Pull your abs in and up as you lift your breastbone. Ask your shoulders to go back and down, and then lift the back of your head. Good. So let's take a few seconds to take inventory. Close your eyes, turn your focus inward. How are your joints? How's your skin? How are your eyes? How's your mood? Then opening our eyes, we can extend our arms, palms up, inhale up. And we'll do 2 sunrise breaths. No, we just did them. We're doing the fountain breaths. Once again, my brain is taking a vacation. There we go. All righty. So let's say good morning to one of our shoulders. Make the largest forward circle you're capable of making, and we'll get those juices flowing. And then reverse it. Good morning, shoulder. Good. Release that one and say good morning to the other shoulder. And reverse that one. Get those lubricants into that joint. Good. All righty. Release your shoulders. Let everything have a nice little wiggle. Take a deep breath. And let's turn and look over our right shoulder. Come back to center and look over your left shoulder. Good. Come back to center. Let's push away our infernal wall. Fan your hands out so they're as wide as possible. Really push right from the middle of your back. You can really feel the effort right along your spine. Then make a soft fist pointed at the floor. So we can stretch the top of your wrist a bit. Good. Let's go back to the wall, out wall. Then index finger to thumb and squeeze, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Backwards, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. Good. Release your arms. Let them have a little wiggle. Take a breath. And let's do a few piano scales. Every little joint gets a chance to stretch and flex. And it's making beautiful music. Good. Palms up. Gently let your hands flop. We'll give our inner wrist a tiny little stretch. Good. Release that. Take a nice deep breath. Very good. Let's do a few cat and cow stretches. So your head's coming forwards, your belly's going backwards, you're exhaling down. As you begin to lift your breastbone, inhale, look up, exhale down. Repeat at your own rhythm. The only important thing about this is coordinating your breathing with your motion. Good. When you're finished with that, come back to center. Make sure your breastbone is still lifted. Let's stir the pot. So we're pretending that our spine is a wooden spoon. Our pelvis is a bowl. And we're stirring up our favorite snack. And let's go backwards. Might be trail mix. It might be brownies. Who knows? Good. Come back to center. Give everything a little loosening wiggle. Take a breath. Let's bring our arms straight out from our shoulders. Turn and look. Turn one palm up and look at it and pull your abs in. Turn the other palm up. Look at that one. Keep your abs pulled in. And go back and forth, always looking at the upward facing palm while you're working to keep your abs nice and firm. Good. Let's bend your elbows. Let one hand come down. Remember, the challenge here is to keep those elbows up at shoulder level. If you want to, you can have both hands in motion simultaneously, but that really takes second place, a distant second, to keeping your elbows up. Good. Release that. Give everybody a little wiggle. Take a nice deep breath. Very good. All right, so let's draw a figure 8 on its side using your nose. And we'll say good morning to the top 3 vertebrae of your neck. Stop and go backwards. Listen to all the funny noises your neck makes. As long as it doesn't hurt, this is good. If it hurts, stop immediately. Good. Now come back to center. And we're going to do the middle neck sequence. So check in with your breastbone, make sure that it's still lifted, and allow your neck to stretch so that your chin can approach your chest. The trick here is not to let your chest sink. You want it still to be lifted. And then we exercise our patience gland while we wait for the big muscles across the top of your shoulders to begin to open. Keep breathing. And sooner or later, the muscles will open enough so that your chin will go a little bit lower. When you're ready, roll your right ear to the right. Now your right ear is looking at your right shoulder. You're looking at the wall, and we're breathing. And we can feel the stretch beginning to develop up and down the left side of our neck. When you're ready, nod a slow yes. And notice how the muscles of your neck feel with this little change. When you're ready, roll your chin to the middle and over to the left. So now your left ear is looking at your left shoulder. You're still looking at the wall, and you're waiting for the right side of your neck to slowly begin to open. When you're ready, nod that slow yes. And then we can roll our chin to the middle and over to the right, back to the middle and over to the left. And you simply go along at your own pace, opening and closing all of the discs in your central neck, stretching and squeezing them, rehydrating them. And when you've had enough of this, you just come back to center, take a deep breath, give everything a loosening up, and we're about to do the seated spinal twist. So if you're on the floor, you're going to stretch your legs out in front of you. If you're sitting in a chair, you're not going to do anything at all with your legs because they're fine where they are. So it's right leg over left, left arm to right knee. Everybody sit up straight and tall, pivot to your right. Make sure that your spine is as vertical as you can get it. Your chest is lifted, your abs are engaged, and you're breathing. Not only are we giving our spine a lovely twist, we're wringing out our viscera. So now that we're warmed up, let's twist back a little bit deeper and release it. Give everything a little wiggle, take a breath. Good. So it's left leg over right, right arm to left leg. Everybody sit up straight and tall, pivot to your left. Use your hands on your floor or the chair as you need to. This is so good for our spines, but it's so good for the rest of us too. So let's twist back a little bit deeper and release it. Come back to center, wiggle everything out. Let's do the frog. All righty. So maximum flexibility in this posture. You can do it on the floor, in a chair, standing up. If you're going to be in a chair, make sure that you can separate your knees wide apart. Keep your hands resting on your knees. Sit up nice and straight and tall. Keep your head and chest up and lean forward. Now, there's no place that you need to get to. You just lean forward until your hips say, stop, I don't want to do this. At which time you breathe encouragement into those hip joints. Let them know that it's okay to release tension. If you can comfortably get your palms down onto the floor, go ahead and do that and release your neck. However, if you can't get them down, if you can only touch the floor with your fingertips, you're much safer keeping your hands on your knees. Breathe into your hip joints. Help them give up the tension and stress they've been holding on to. The longer we stay in this posture, the more the stretch develops. And since no one can jump into a stretch, we have to be patient and allow it to happen. Now, when you're ready to come out of it, it's very simple. Make sure your hands are back on your knees. Pick your head and chest up first. And there we are. Good. Let's stand up. Give everything a loosening wiggle. Take a breath. Good. All righty. So we're going to start in Tadasana as we always do. So we want to get our feet lined up like the number 11, hip width apart. Don't forget the trick with your fists. And of course, if you have balance issues, if you want to separate your feet a little bit wider, that's okay too. All right. So we're going to sway just a little bit left and right. While we do this, direct your focus to the bottom of your feet. Feel how the bones press into the flesh as you do this. It's a subtle massage. Good. All right. Come back to center. Distribute your weight evenly across the bottom of your foot. Pull yourself up through your legs If you want, you can tuck your pelvis a tiny amount as you lift your abs, lift your breastbone. Ask your shoulders to go back and down. Lift the back of your head. This is Tadasana. Take a deep breath and feed and cleanse your body. Every inhalation welcomes the future. Every exhalation releases the past. Good. Let's bring our hands out. Interlace your hands so that, and notice which finger's on top. Reverse. Stretch. Bring your hands behind your back. Interlace and lift into chest expansion. And if you're like me and your chin juts out, just pull it back. Keep breathing. Good. Release it. Bring your hands out again, but this time when you interlace, make sure the other finger's on top. Reverse. Stretch. Bring your hands behind your back. Interlace the strange way and lift. Breathe into the stretch. Good. Release all of that. It's all good. So we're going to do a good old side stretch. We did the shifting pelvis last time. So we're going to do the static pelvis this time. We're going to keep our pelvis lined up over our feet at all times. And so this time you let your left arm travel down your left leg, bring your right arm up, lean to the left. Now, if you wish, you can bring your right hand up and use it to pull on your right arm, which will accentuate the stretch you feel up and down your right side. Breathe into it. Good. Come back to center. Bring your arms down. Give everything a wiggle. Take a breath. Good. So we're going to do the other side, obviously. Bring your left arm up. Your right arm is traveling down your leg as you reach to the right. If you wish, you can bring your right arm up and use it to pull on your left arm to intensify that stretch. And breathe. Make sure you're looking at the wall, not the floor. When you're ready, come back to center. Give everything a loosening up. Take a breath. Because today is Warrior One Day, so we need our chair. So I'm going to start with my left leg. So I want my chair on my left. Remember that this is the business where we have a left lane and a right lane, because we want our left foot and right foot to stay in their own lane. If you line them up, your balance is much harder. Okay, so step forward with your left foot, staying in the left lane. Your right leg is straight, but your left knee is bent over your left ankle. Now we want to bring your hips around to face the same direction as your left toes. Stack your shoulders above your hips, and now we can decide where to put our arms. You can stay here. You can go to prayer position. You can go to goddess arms. You can go to yoga mudra arms. You can do palms facing. Pick one, look up and breathe. So while you're standing here, looking for things you can improve, one of the things that I have to work on is rolling my shoulders down and pushing my arms back. Maybe one of you needs to work on lifting your breastbone or tightening up your abs or straightening your elbows. Everybody has different areas that they want to work on. Your choice. Stay as long as you like, but if you're ready to come out of it, bring your arms down, step onto your left foot, shake out your legs, take a little breath. And by little breath, of course, I mean big breath. Okay, so we're going to reorganize ourselves so that we can have our chair on the right, stepping forward with your right foot. Your right knee is bent over your right ankle. Your left leg is straight. You bring your hips around to face your right toes. And now we're ready to decide where to put our arms. All of the same choices are available to you this time that you had last time. And of course, breathe. Now, of course, you can stay as long as you like, but if you're ready to come out of it, simply bring your arms down, step onto your right leg, shake them out. Give everybody a nice wiggle, take a breath. That's good stuff. All right, so let's bring our chair around so that we can do our stand-up sit-downs. We're going to start sitting in the chair, but you're sitting on the forward edge of the chair. You're not sitting deeply. This is very challenging. So if you want a big challenge, you can sit back here. You can also keep your feet together. That's more challenging. Separating your feet nice and wide apart is less challenging. Pulling your feet backwards a little bit is less challenging. Cross your arms and stand up and sit down and stand up and sit down and stand up. Now, if you need to use the arms of the chair, push off, go ahead and do that. And hopefully we'll get to the point where we won't need to do that anymore. But in the meantime, you just establish a nice rhythm for yourself and go back and forth. And when you're done, you just let everything go and slump. Take a deep breath. It always feels so good when it stops. So we have to celebrate the good feelings. All righty, so let's work a little bit on our side stabilizers. So this time we're going to stand next to the chair. I have my left hand on the chair because I'm going to stand on my left leg. I want to pick up my right leg, cross it in front of my left leg, send it out to the right, cross it behind my left leg, out to the right and in front. And you simply repeat this motion. Now, when your right foot is out to the right, don't let your toes wig out to the right because you won't catch the correct muscle. You want to keep those toes facing forward at all times. And then we're working the correct muscle. After all, why do the work if we're not going to benefit from it? Then you put your right foot on the floor, shake out your standing leg, take a deep breath. Good. All righty. So reorganize yourself so that your right hand is on the chair. And we're going to pick up our left leg, cross it in front of our right, out to the left, behind our right leg, out to the left. Key to this is the same as the key to the other one. Make sure that those left toes face forward when they go out to the left. Don't let them wig out. I love this clock. Put that foot on the floor, shake out your standing leg, take a deep breath. Good. Let that work and effort go. And we're going to do something nice for our shoulders. So I'm going to turn around so that you can see what I'm up to. I put my feet back into Tadasana. And just interlace your hands behind your back, bring them up to your waist, and then work them around to the left. When you get over here, use your strength of your left arm to pull your right hand around, and then take your left elbow and push it behind you. If you can get your palms together, that's a nice thing. Breathe, make sure your breastbone's still lifted. And you're getting a nice stretch across the front of your shoulders. Keep breathing. Then we'll move our hands back to the middle and begin to move them over to the right. Wiggle them over there as best you can do. And then pull your right elbow behind you and try to get your palms to come together and breathe. When you're ready to come out of it, all you have to do is bring your arms back to the middle, come down, release, take a breath. Good. Okay, so we want to bring our chairs back.
It seems that image is going out to all people.
No, I doubt it. I doubt it. But we can ask Connor and he'll know the answer. What? Do you know how to make that go away? Okay, good. I'm glad you know. All righty, so we're standing behind our chairs. We have our hands gently resting on our chairs and our feet are in Tadasana. And we're going to do heel raises. So you simply raise your heel up off the floor and then you put them back down. Pick them up, you put them down, and you're going back and forth at your own pace. We are strengthening all the muscles and tendons and ligaments in your ankles and your feet. These are very crucial little critters to our ability to walk safely. Very good. Thank you. Good. All right. That's enough of that. So now let's sit in our chairs and give ourselves a wonderful foot massage. Bring a foot up onto your lap and just go after the bottom of your foot with your fingers. You want to squeeze and release, squeeze and release. Use your fingers like little hammers on your feet. When your fingers get tired, simply change to your knuckles, and you can use your knuckles to press into the flesh at the bottom of your foot. Don't forget your toes, they deserve a little TLC. Squeezing and releasing, squeezing and releasing. Our feet do so much for us. It's high time we do something good for them. This is a primo way to do it. If you've ever had reflexology, or if you've never had it, I recommend it highly. It'll make your day. Good. Release that foot, pick the other foot up, and go after the bottom of the other foot. Squeezing and releasing, showing our feet a little love. This is one of those times where it's so important because every time we squeeze some aspect of our anatomy and we're squeezing the fluids out, when we release the pressure, more fluids come rushing in than were squeezed out. So there's a tremendous amount of cleansing and feeding going on when we do this kind of thing. And the same is true of a full body massage. If you get an opportunity to do that, it really counts in terms of improving your health and well-being. Good. Now, put both feet on the floor and just feel them. They should feel very much alive with sensation. Good. All righty. So let's do our side to side figure eights. So stand where your feet are comfortable. Take one arm and do a giant figure eight on its side. You're shifting your weight left and right. Let this arm stop and then go backwards. This side to side motion is very comforting. If you're a parent, you understand because you've done this thousands of times. Take the other arm and let the other arm do the job. Stop and go backwards. Then let both arms do the job together. Stop and go backwards. Good. There we are. Give everything a loosening up. Take a deep breath. Because that's the end of the first half hour. So for all of you who are not going to get down on the floor with us, I hope that you'll have a most excellent weekend. Tomorrow is going to be sunny and nice, so get outside. I'll see you back here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. Namaste. All right, floor yogis. Let's get down on the floor. We're going to start in tabletop as we so often do. And we're going to start with a few cat and cow stretches. So head down, belly up, exhaling. Belly down, head up, inhaling. And just go back and forth. Notice how different this posture feels in tabletop as opposed to sitting. Then return to neutral, head and hips to the right, neutral, head and hips to the left, neutral, back to the right, neutral, and the left. Good. So come up to your knees. Our knees are hip width apart because they should have been hip width apart to begin with. We're going to do the camel. So to do the half camel, you want to curl your toes under and then reach back with one of your arms, feel around, find your right, well, I've got my right arm back, so it's my right ankle, right heel I'm looking for. When you find it, you can lean on it and raise your left arm to the ceiling. This is the half camel. For those of you who have better flexibility than I do, you can take your left arm and put it on your left heel, and you can do the full camel. When you've had enough of the half camel, come back to vertical. And this time we're going to fish around with the other arm and find the other foot. So we're doing the half camel on the other side. But of course, if you like the full camel instead, go do that. When you've had enough of this, bring your arm down, come back to vertical, put your hands on the floor. Don't forget, if your wrists don't like this, you can go up onto your fists or down onto your elbows. We're going to curl our toes under, lift your pelvis into downward facing dog. Now push your shoulders as close to your knees as you can get them and release your neck. If you can see your hands, your neck is working. You should only be able to see your feet. Breathe into it. Some people like to flex one knee and then the other knee, so you look like you're walking. Go ahead and do that if you like. Keep breathing. Make sure your elbows are nice and straight. Knees are nice and straight. Shoulders as close to knees as possible. Stay as long as you like. But if you're ready to come out of it, you touch your knees to the floor, big toes together, knees slightly apart, forehead on the floor. Unless, of course, this doesn't work for you, in which case you roll over onto your back and pull your knees up onto your chest. That works much better for people with knee and sinus issues. When you get into your resting posture, take a couple of nice deep breaths and let that work and effort go as you feel your body reconfiguring after those weird poses. So let's get back into tabletop so that we can do thread the needle. So we're going to start by taking our right arm up to the ceiling and look at it. Bring your right arm behind your left hand, put the right side of your head on the floor and reach past your left hand as much as you can. There we are. You can stay here with your left hand flat on the mat. You can walk it out in front of you, or you can point it at the ceiling. The choice is yours. Breathe into the twist. This is twisting a slightly different part of our back than when we were in the seated spinal twist. Stay as long as you like. When you're ready to come out of it, put your left hand on the mat and push. And you're right back into tabletop. So this time we're going to take our left arm up, look at it, bring it behind your right hand, put the left side of your head on the mat and reach through as much as you can. And then again, if you want, you can leave your right hand where it is. You can walk it out in front of you, or you can point it at the ceiling. Up to you. Breathe into it. You may notice one side is easier than the other. And that's typical. We are all asymmetrical. And we use our bodies in asymmetrical ways. If you've ever been bowling, or if you've ever played tennis, you know this. When you're ready to come out of it, put your right hand on the mat and push. Good. Let's lay down. And for a few seconds, just lay there in the corpse pose. Close your eyes. Check in with your body. How does it feel? Now, pull your knees up onto your chest, give them a hug. You can either interlace your hands in front of your knees or behind, whichever works best for you. And notice how your back feels right now. Many people find this much more comfortable than laying in the corpse pose. Because this is very comforting to the lower back and allows the muscles to relax. So then drop your hands to the floor, draw a circle on the ceiling with your knees together. Go backwards. Good. Put your hands on your knees as though each knee was a softball in a catcher's mitt. Now, we're going to draw circles on the ceiling with our knees apart. So our knees are together right now, but each knee goes apart and then returns together. Goes apart, comes back together. So each knee is doing its own separate circle. This is a wonderful move to lubricate your hip joints. Stop and reverse each of those individual circles. Good. Now push one arm forward and now the other arm. So your knees are going back and forth like a piston. Good. Release your knees, let your feet come down to the floor. Take a nice breath. Extend your right leg to the ceiling with a good straight knee. Point and flex your foot. Draw a circle on the ceiling using just your foot, keeping the rest of your leg straight and true. Go backwards. All righty. So we're going to do a little ab work. Pull your abs in firmly. Lower your right leg all the way to the floor. When it touches the floor, relax your abs, relax your leg. Let your toes roll out. Now firm up everything. Draw that leg back to the vertical position and repeat that 3 more times. You may be tempted to skip the rest period at the bottom. Resist. Last time. When you're finished with that sequence, let your right leg drift to the right, heading for the floor. Then bring it back when it can't go any lower. Repeat that 2 more times. And when you're finished, bend your knee, let your foot come to the floor, and then extend your left leg to the ceiling, point and flex that foot. Draw a circle using only your foot. Reverse it. Now, we're going to firm up our abs, slowly lower that leg all the way to the floor. Relax your foot, relax your leg, relax your tummy. Firm up everything and bring it back. And of course, you're going to repeat that 3 more times. Last time. When you're done, let that leg drift to the left, heading for the floor. And it gets as low as it's going to go. Bring it back and repeat 2 more times. And then bend your left knee, let your left foot rest on the floor. Take a nice deep breath. Let that work and effort go. So bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees spill apart into the Cobbler Pose. If you want to bring your feet closer to your body, that's more challenging. If you want it less challenging, push your feet away. Bring your arms up into the space above your chest, interlace your hands, and draw circles on the ceiling while your legs are getting this wonderful hip opener in the Cobbler Pose. The middle of your back is getting a little massage. Then reverse your palms to the ceiling. Bring your hands overhead. Bring your knees together and let your legs slide out and stretch. Relax everything. Stretch just the right side of your body. Release it. Stretch just the left. Release it. Back to the right and the left. Good. Bring your arms down. Reach down, bring one of your feet up, put your hand in your instep, bring the other foot up, put the other hand in the other instep, and now put both feet on the ceiling so that you're pulling your knees into your armpits. This is Happy Baby. And you can move your feet around a bit and decide which position gives you the most entertainment and provides the most interesting sensations in your hips. And you can stay as long as you like, but when you're done, simply release your feet, allow them to come back to the floor, take a nice deep breath. So bring your feet as close to your butt as you can get them. Roll your butt left and right so that you can get your lower arms a little bit under your hips. And tuck your pelvis and put it down. Tuck a little bigger and put it down. And keep moving that way, each tuck getting a little bigger, until you come all the way up onto your shoulders. You can then roll your shoulders left and right so that you're in chest expansion, and you can interlace your hands behind your back. Push your pelvis as close to the ceiling as you can get it. And breathe. This is the bridge. It is a sensational strengthener for your core. Stay as long as you like, but if you're ready to come out of it, release your hands to come overhead and then slowly lower your butt. When your hips are down on the floor, you're done. Bring your knees up onto your chest, give them a hug. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. When you're ready, roll to one side and come up onto your knees. And then just sit comfortably on one cheek. So I'm sitting on my right cheek and right thigh. So there's plenty of room under my left cheek for my right foot. And then my left foot's out there. Now, if you have wrist issues, you're not going to like having your hand flat. So come right down onto your elbow. We're going to bring our left arm across our body. But as we do it, we're going to lift ourselves up onto our knee. So it looks like this. And then down. If you've got your hand, it looks like that and down. And you repeat it as many times as you wish. Once again, this is a terrific strengthener for your core, which is essentially all of the muscles in the neighborhood of your pelvis. Good. Now, simply shift your legs around. This time, you're sitting on your left cheek and left thigh. So there's plenty of room under your right cheek for your left foot. Put your left hand down or your left elbow as you wish and reach across your body, come up onto your knees, come up and down. That's the ball game. Good news, it's time for deep relaxation. So if you have blankets, cushions, pillows, socks, sweaters, anything you need to stay warm and comfortable while we rest, this is the time to put those items on and then arrange yourself on the floor in the world's most comfortable position, whatever that might be. You could use the traditional corpse pose. You can be on your side in the fetal position. It's up to you. When you have gotten yourself organized and covered up, simply lay down, close your eyes, take a couple of nice deep breaths, and let all the work and the effort that we've put into this hour dissipate. Because now yoga is in the rear view mirror. We have worked, we have stretched, we have breathed, we have released. It's time to shift out of achievement mode or work mode into resting. But this is not something that we are very good at. Most of us are very good at working, applying pressure, effort, achieving, working. But of equal importance is our ability to let go of that effort and to give our bodies an opportunity to rest rebuild, cleanse, feed, reorganize, and prepare for the next challenge which life will bring our way. We don't know when it will arrive. We don't know what form it will take. So when we have an opportunity to rest and rebuild, we need to take full opportunity to take its advantages to heart. If we skimp on resting, we will be too fatigued and too stressed to meet the next challenge. So now it's time to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, make any loosening motions which might feel good before rolling to one side to come up to a seated position where we'll put our hands together, close our eyes, lower our heads, and give thanks for this day. Then raising our heads and opening our eyes, we can look at one another and say, Namaste, 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 Namaste. I hope you have a great weekend. See you back here on Monday.